You are listening to Wilhelm, a film-centric podcast for film lovers of all kinds. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Welcome to Wilhelm. I am your host, Ben Beck, and on this episode, we're doing things a bit different. This time, we're diving even deeper than just our favorite movies. We're going to go as deep as our favorite characters. That's right. This episode, my guest and I, we're going to talk about who we think are our top 5 favorite Disney villains. I'm so excited my guest picked this topic because this is a fun topic and a difficult topic. Which brings me to my guest. He's a fellow podcaster hosting the sports movie centric podcast Field to Screen. Welcome, my friend, Alex Balish.
How the heck are you, Ben? And thank you so much for letting me do this. I know when you put up all your topics, I was excited about this one, but the problem is I don't know where to start and I don't know where to stop because trying to figure out 5 is going to be tough, but I know we're going to do our best.
So the pilot episode, the premiere episode of this, I thought already was a difficult episode because it was Jason and I talking about the films that we feel are like essential films that people should watch.
Right.
Which hopefully most of you have listened to that episode. If you're hearing this one, you've heard that one, hopefully. But yeah, like this is another difficult one because Disney villains are, first off, they're awesome. Like they're amazing.
Yes, they're amazing.
It's difficult to choose. Now, I want to preface this by saying, of my top 5, my number 1 has always been my number 1. So it was the easiest one for me to choose, and it might surprise a couple people. But the other 4, it was so difficult.
Well, you know, the problem with Disney is they've been around for so long that it's so encompassing of all of our lives. Now, one of the things that I did with my list, I took out all the Star Wars, I took out all the MCU,
I did as well.
Yeah, and it was just the core brand, so to speak. And I, quite honestly, when we get into the list, I think the oldest villains were the best, and they were the scariest of all.
I did the same exact thing. So Thanos is not in here.
Right.
Darth Vader is not in here.
You can't have Darth Vader.
We're talking pure Disney villains here. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Marvel villains and the Star Wars villains are amazing in themselves and might become a topic of episodes later on down the road.
Absolutely, and they should.
But yeah, this one, it was hard enough just choosing from the Disney villains.
Exactly.
To not incorporate or to have to incorporate those guys into it as well.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I mean, there's so many Disney villains out there. There's so many great Disney villains out there. So not only to narrow it down to 5 was tough, but to choose the placement of those 5 made it even harder.
Absolutely, because they're all number 1s in my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, they all have such amazing qualities, which we're going to dive into when when we get into the top 5. Which, you know what? Let's jump right into it. Let's dive into the top 5. But before we do that, I just got to let you know, neither Alex or myself, we haven't revealed or discussed any of our top 5 choices ahead of time, as to not influence each other's choices. So he doesn't know my top 5. I don't know his. And also just a fair warning, when we're talking about some of these villains, we're going to discuss the movies they're from. There may be some spoilers involved if some of these movies you haven't seen yet. So just be forewarned. And I haven't said this in any other episode yet, but I'll say it now. If you haven't seen any of these movies, what the hell are you waiting for? Because Disney movies, I don't know anybody who's not a Disney fan.
Pretty much, yeah. If you're not a Disney fan, I don't know what to tell you because this is all Disney all the time today.
Yeah. And lastly, of course, these are just our opinions. We're not professional raters of Disney villains of any sense. So your top five might be different than our top five, which is perfectly okay.
Yeah, I didn't get my villain Disney card.
I didn't either. I'm not certified yet.
No.
So hopefully one day I'll be certified in Disney villainy.
No, absolutely.
Kind of cool, actually.
Yeah.
But that said, let's jump into our top five. I'm going to kick it over to you as the guest. As far as the top five Disney villains, where do you fall with your number five?
Well, one of the things that I looked at was not only how bad they were, but what was the best song?
Yeah, I absolutely thought about songs when it came to
and it's funny because I recently went to Disney before the pandemic with my daughter, and there's a big wave of people that want not only villains, because we went down during right when the Halloween it wasn't just that they want villains, they want their lairs, their castles and stuff like that. There's a huge group of people that want that. But that said, the first group of villains that I have are not human, but they're cats. And they're the Siamese cats from Lady and the Tramp, because they are, without a doubt, the worst. What they put Lady through is just awful. And even when they in their entrance, Lady goes into the bedroom with the baby and Aunt, and I forget her name because it's been a while since I've seen it. Aunt shoos her away, and then they show themselves with the tails and oh my god, and they just their song is, and you can't do what they did today. I mean, it's racist. It's an embarrassing mess for today's time.
Yeah.
But they're just so evil, and all they're trying to do is just get Lady and the Tramp in trouble, as well as, they have favor with their aunt and with their mom, and all she does is just love on them.
Yeah.
And that's what I love.
That's an interesting choice, because I'll be honest with you, of all the villains that I looked at to possibly make this list and bring up as honorable mentions, I never once thought about the Siamese cats. But it's a good choice because it totally fits. They are rotten characters.
They're the worst. They're the worst.
They are absolutely rotten characters.
And the thing about the whole song thing that I was thinking about was, most of the songs that we love are from the villains, and if you actually listen to the words, they're actually horrible. Like, I mean, there's lines in it that make them horrible. That's why, not to bring up the MCU, but I'm recently doing the deep dive with the MCU, and I'm like, damn, Loki he's just the worst, but you gotta love him at the same time.
He's the worst, but he's the best.
But that's what I mean. No, that's what I mean. He's the worst because he's the best.
Yeah.
And you know what you get when you get him. And that's kind of the way I felt about the Siamese twins. I love their entrance. It's just one of those things that is just always been one of my favorites.
That's awesome. I'm really truly surprised by that choice, because not just because of the fact that you chose them, but because I didn't even consider them.
Hey, that's what we're here for.
But you're right. I'm glad that gets me even more excited for these lists, because there might be other ones on your list that I didn't even consider. So,
what's yours?
So my number five is one that many people know. He doesn't have a big song number like some of the other villains that we mentioned, who you were absolutely right. We love the villain songs probably more than anyone else. I went with Hades from Hercules.
Oh, okay.
Hades to me has always been he's a fun villain in that he does have some comical moments. And he's not exactly portrayed in the beginning of the movie as a very villainous character. Like, he comes across more sarcastic and witty. It's not until later on in the movie that Hades really begins to come across as a true villain. He becomes manipulative and dark and sinister. So I like, one of the reasons why I chose Hades for mine is, one, he's got one of my favorite lines of any villain, and that's, "Whoa, is my hair out?"
There you go.
But I chose him too because he is the definition. I think like a lot of these other villains that we choose are villains from the start and they remain villains. But Hades, I'll keep confusing him with Hercules. Hades to me seems like he's one that kind of builds to the villain. I mean, we know he's a villain from the start, but he builds to become the villain that we end up hating and loving to hate by the end of the movie. If that makes any kind of sense.
Oh no, I totally understand, and you know, he turns out to be the way he is, and you know, it's fun to watch. Yeah, because like you said, a good villain, you just eat it up, and that's why, you know, he wasn't on my list, but I can totally see why he's on yours.
Yeah,
because he just, you know, you eat him up like all these guys.
Yeah, I mean, and another good thing that I think really, I mean, we talked about music and how a song could really bring out the villainy in a character and our love for that villain of a character. But I think voice talent is also another really good thing. And you bring in somebody who, like James Woods, who in many ways, depending on where you stand politically, is a villain in himself.
Absolutely.
You know, but I love him as an actor. And he just has that gravitas to bring that character to life the way he did. So, I mean, I couldn't not put Hades. God, man, it's Hades, not Hercules. Hades, not Hercules. I couldn't help but put Hades in my top 5.
I understand. And, you know, when Hercules does come out, I heard it's a pretty good movie. When it does come out, he will have his time in the sun, but not Hades. It was a bad joke.
Oh, okay. What are you talking about? Now, there is, I'm pretty sure there is a project in the works to bring Hercules to live action.
I'm a big believer in, I know they're bringing a lot to live action, and there's certain ones that go to live action, and that would be great for live action. Like, personally, I don't think, and I, you know, the Jungle Book and Lion King, I thought they did it a disservice by doing it. Again, I'm either the purist or I just didn't like it. You know?
See, I kind of agree with you on the Lion King, but I enjoyed the Jungle Book.
I just the problem with the Lion King is it's one of my all-time favorite movies. So it's just like there's nothing they can do
and it's not exactly live action when everything is CGI.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
You know, Jungle Book at least had Mowgli. Or Mowgli that, you know, was real.
Right.
But Hercules, yeah, you're right. I mean, there's more live action characters. There are actual human characters, which would make it live action, which would make it better. And actually, I do plan on doing an episode of Wilhelm later on down the road where we're going to actually fan cast.
Okay.
Movies we'd like to see become live action.
Oh.
And since Hercules, the cast of Hercules has not been announced yet, because I don't even think they have it yet, we may actually fan cast that one before Disney announces it.
Okay.
So we'll see. But how about you? What's your number 4 on the list?
My number 4 is part of a song that I have to listen to every day because I have a 6-year-old. Okay. And one of her favorite songs is Belle from Beauty and the Beast.
Okay.
And obviously Belle is not the villain in that, but the greatest character, the most self-centered son of a whatever, is Gaston.
I love it. He is in my honorable mentions. I love it.
And the reason why I love him is because, one, the movie's great, but if you ever go to Disney and you see him live, the character himself, that gentleman that plays him, is exactly like Gaston. And that's what makes it even better.
Yeah.
He's just so about Gaston. And I mean, I just know from the song Belle, he's like, you know, he talks about being well bred, you know, Belle is well bred, all these other things. He's like, I don't know what that means. You know, it's just like he is just so self-centered, and he tries to have the townspeople turn against the father about the beast when he comes and tells them. It's just he's just awful.
Gaston, yeah. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, it's just, you know, at first when I was thinking of villains, I'm like, you know, he's always on the lists. And then I watched the movie again for, you know, to do the research. I'm like, gosh darn, he got the whole town against him. And then when Belle tells him to get lost, he goes ballistic. And that's, I mean, again, it's just such a great, he's such a great character. I love the live action. I also love the animation. They're both different. I think they both have really great qualities. They change up some of the scenes and the songs a little bit, but the core of both of the characters are amazing.
Oh yeah, I mean Gaston, like I said, is on my honorable mention. He's not in my top 5, but he is. It's weird because he's one of those villains that is you wouldn't. It's so weird that there are only a select few people in that movie who see him as the villain.
Right.
Everybody else sees him as the town hero. He is the charming, good-looking town hero. Yeah, and he's one of those complex villains because, as I mentioned, not everybody in the film actually only a select few people in the movie see him for what he truly is as the villain.
Right.
But you're right. I mean, you talk about good songs when we associate with a villain. The song Gaston from Beauty and the Beast. I'll tell you right now, when I sing along, like if I'm driving and I'm playing music in my car, I have those Disney songs in my playlist. They come up. And when Gaston comes up, not only do I sing the LeFou part, right, but I will lower my voice when the Gaston lines come. Both. Because it's a fun song.
It's funny because, my 6-year-old, she has a playlist. I don't know how a 6-year-old has a playlist, but she has a playlist. And when we go to school, we've got our songs, and they're mostly from Disney animation, and we also have the Schuyler sisters from Hamilton. I guess that's a Disney property a little bit, but because it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
In a sense, I mean, we're really pushing straws there, pulling for straws. But my point being is, it's just so much fun to, like you said, there's not a person that isn't a Disney fan, and it kind of weaves through our generation to our parents' generation to our kids' generation, and I think that's something that we can all kind of rally around because in sports as well as in these type of movies, it doesn't change.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so great. And you get a guy like Gaston. Now I will say this about Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, all those quote unquote older movies, that was considered the new stuff because there was a huge gap between the 50s until then, and it was a lot of the Love Bug and all that other kind of stuff, and they went away from the animation, and then the 90s came in,
and Beauty and the Beast,
and all of them came back, and it was like this was all part of that regeneration, and I really think that they had the core of what the animation was back then.
And it was also because you're right, because those older movies like Peter Pan or The Jungle Book, they were still the old style animation where it was layers upon layers on top of each other. It was the still animation. And then they had the resurgence in the 90s with Beauty and the Beast, where now the animation was computerized.
Right.
And now you had Beauty and the Beast, and you had Aladdin, and you had The Lion King, and like all this amazing
and
resurgence.
All the movies that we love.
Yes. Well, don't get me wrong. I still love those older movies.
No. What I meant was all those from all. You have the newer version, and then you have all the movies that you loved when you were a kid, plus the new ones. So I mean, it's all good.
Yeah,
we're both dripping with Disney love.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's funny that you brought up Hamilton too, because I don't know if you're aware, there is a connection between Hamilton and Beauty and the Beast. In Gaston, there is a connection between the two. There is a shared line between Gaston and Angelica, and that's throw your courage to the sticking place. It is it's a lyric of a song in Hamilton. And it's also in the when Gaston is storming the castle, and Lin-Manuel Miranda took that line from Beauty and the Beast and put it in to Hamilton.
Well, you know how much I love Hamilton, and I'm a little
Myth that you didn't know that?
I didn't know that, but you know what? I'm proud. I'm just happy that people are talking history and talking Hamilton, so that makes it even better. So it's all good.
A real quick funny story on my end too about Beauty and the Beast, and then I'll move on to my number 4. A couple years back, I returned to my high school. My high school always did a huge musical every year. I was in them in high school. And then, I have kids. I had people that I went to high school with who now have kids in the musical. So I go back and I watch them every year. And one year I went back to actually assist with the show. Like I became part of production and I became a production assistant. And it was the year they did Beauty and the Beast. And one of the kids that got cast as Gaston, I really pushed for because I knew he had the chops to do it. And I knew they didn't want to give it to him. And I was like, trust me, like, I really think he can pull this off. And they took a chance on him and he killed it as Gaston. And I remember they always did 6 nights. And there's the scene with Beast and Gaston battling where Beast throws Gaston over the wall and he falls to his death. Like the first couple nights they did that scene, he was always really disappointed because he expected a bigger reaction to his death. And I kept telling him, like, dude, I'm like, wait for it. It's going to happen. Like, you will get that reaction one of these nights. Like, you'll get it. And closing night, like, he came to me and he's like, what do I have to do to get that reaction? I was like, just leave it out there. I was like, this is your last night. You're a senior. This is closing night. You will never have another opportunity. Nobody's going to fault you if you do something wrong because you're not doing this again tomorrow night. I was like, so leave it out there. So he put everything into that battle to the point where when Beast threw him off, he got a huge applause.
There you go. And
I was one of the people that was at the bottom of the wall that had to catch him so that he didn't slam into the wall. And the moment he fell off that wall and I was catching him, I heard that applause. I literally grabbed him and I said to him, listen, there it is.
That's awesome. That's a great story.
He was like, that made his year. And like, I'm actually getting a little choked up thinking about it because it was a cool moment for me to tell him that. Yeah. Like to tell him, like, listen, there it is. That's what you wanted. Because this was a kid that I supported from the beginning to play this part. Mm-hmm. And he got what he wanted out of it. That was cool. So all
what's your next one?
My number 4. This is the first and only live action villain on my list. Okay. I'm going with Captain Barbossa.
Oh,
from Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. Now, Barbossa's he's a little tricky because he doesn't always stay the villain.
Right.
But if you look at it purely in the sense of The Curse of the Black Pearl, he is the villain.
Right.
He's the villain of the entire movie. He doesn't go good at all like he does in later movies. He is the villain of the film.
Right.
And this was even a newer generation of movies because now we were getting live action Disney movies that were coming to screen. And Pirates of the Caribbean was made to be such a spectacle, and it turned out to be one that I still love those movies. I don't care. Like even the 5th one, the 4th and 5th ones weren't not part of the original trilogy. Obviously, they're separate stories. They're still fun movies to me.
Right. Oh no, absolutely.
So, I mean, Barbossa was like going to see Pirates of the Caribbean was already like a fun experience. But that moment where Barbossa stepped, like you already know, like he's a villain, but he's kind of a charming villain. Like he's got some swag to him. And then that moment that he steps into the moonlight and you see what he truly is and that he's dead and possessed.
Yeah.
Like at that moment, you're like, okay, this takes Barbossa to another level.
Absolutely.
And so I couldn't not put Barbossa on this list. Not to mention Jeffrey Rush is just fantastic.
Oh, he's amazing. And I'm not a huge fan of the whole franchise. I like the original couple of movies. Mm-hmm. And it just for me got a little ridiculous, but like you said, it's a great character. He does what he is. He's pure evil from beginning to end, and he is the villain. Even when he's not the villain, he's still the villain, like you said.
Yeah. I mean, and he's one of those guys that too, like, you loved to hate him, like, so much so that, like, when the second movie came out, I remember being like, okay, like, this is still part of the original trilogy, but it's kind of disconnected from the first one. There's a couple.
Right.
And then at the very end of the second one, when you see him, like, when you hear that peg leg coming down the steps,
yeah,
I remember being in the theater being like, wait a minute. It can't be. Like, there's no way. And then he steps in with the monkey on his shoulder and takes a bite of that apple. I'm like, yes, like, I'm so excited that he's back.
Yeah. And that's again, I think one thing that Disney does, and it's shown through especially MCU and the Disney Plus stuff, they love to have those wonderful zingers at the end.
Yeah.
And being in the group that we are in, I've learned to always wait for the credits to end. Because I've missed out on a couple of things before that, and because I didn't wait till the end. So
I do that for everything now. It's not just Marvel anymore, because a lot of other production companies have kind of grabbed onto that too.
Yeah.
Start doing like mid and end credit scenes, and now, like, Marvel was the first one to really capitalize on it, but Disney adapted it, and Disney started doing stuff like that. Star Wars does stuff like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh no, actually, I don't think Star Wars really does do it.
Mandalorian, I think, maybe did.
The series do. The movies don't do end credit stuff.
I'm looking at your shirt, and I'm thinking of Flash Gordon when we were kids. One of the greatest endings after the credits was when Ming picked up the ring. And they never made the second one, which has nothing to do with Disney, but it just pisses me off.
Well, my shirt is also not Flash Gordon.
I know. I was just thinking of Flash. I was just thinking of Flash Gordon. I know it's the Flash.
Yeah.
But I just was, that was one of the greatest non-movies that never. I'm still heartbroken that never got made.
But yeah, I was very excited to see Barbossa return, and then the character made a change. He became more of an anti-villain, or he became more of an anti-hero in the third movie and the fourth movie, and then by the fifth movie he was pretty much a hero.
Right.
So I mean, over the course of 3 movies, they definitely gave him a redemption arc, and turned the character around. But for that first movie, he absolutely qualifies as one of my favorite villains of all time for
Absolutely.
Disney. So you're number 3.
This is where it gets really awful.
All right.
Because I have 8 number 3s, but I know you only want one number 3.
I only want. No, you can mention the others in honorable mentions.
I know. I have a lot of them, but there's, when you think of Disney, you think of the Evil Queen, and you think of Maleficent. I can never say it right.
I was waiting to see if you would.
I know how to say it, and I just always screw it up. Maleficent. I said it wrong again.
You said it wrong again. It's Maleficent.
Thank you.
Yes.
But one of the things that I loved about Walt, when he was making his original animation, he took the fairy tales that we all know and love and recreated them in his own way.
Yeah.
And I've watched that as a kid. I've watched it as an adult. And that movie scares the crap out of me every time when she comes on.
Yeah, there's a lot of those older Disney movies I watch as adults now, and I'm like, how did this not scar children?
The Grimm's fairy tales were never like fluffy.
They're never meant for kids.
No.
Yeah.
And what she does is just pure evil, putting her in that trance. Of course, Prince Charming comes or whatever else, but she turns into an old lady to give her the apple. I mean, there's just all awfulness.
No, you're confusing movies now.
Oh,
turning into the old lady to give the apple.
Oh, it's Sleeping Beauty.
No, that's Snow White.
Snow White. Oh God, I'm getting them all confused now. You got me too many friggin'.
It's a lot of choices.
That's why I'm saying I can't deal with this. But again, what's nice about her is she's been pure evil the whole time. And she has her own spin-off for her because of it. They've made her own spin-offs. And she's a great live-action character. And I think that Angelina Jolie did a great job with her. And, at the end of the day, I'm just going to leave it at that. She's my number 3.
Well, I mean, it's funny that you bring up too, like you mentioned, like she's pure evil. Like I always believed the same thing. And then when they announced that they were making the Maleficent live action with Angelina Jolie, I'm like, well, how do you do that? Like she's a pure villain character. Like, how do you make a movie about the villain? Because usually when you do that, you're giving them some redeeming qualities. And I don't believe her to have any. And then that shows the brilliance of the Disney writers is that like I was late to the live action Maleficent game. Like I didn't watch it until maybe 2 years ago.
Right.
No, actually I didn't even really watch until last year for the first time. And I still haven't had an opportunity to watch the sequel yet. But I remember watching the live action for the first time last year and being like, why did I wait so long to watch this? This is a fantastic movie.
Right.
And it really changes my perspective on Maleficent now.
Right.
Like it gave her, like she wasn't always this way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know? And when you see what made her go bad, it's like, all right, I kind of understand the character a little bit more.
It reminds me a lot of Wicked.
Yeah. Now you want to talk about a character who I always pronounce wrong. Is it Ephabel?
I believe you say it that way.
If I'm wrong, I apologize to the listeners.
I know, and I'm wrong. And if I'm agreeing with them, I apologize.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, Wicked gave the perspective from the villain's side, and it showed why she became the way she became. And
yeah.
So, and I really want to watch the second one because I want to know more about it.
Absolutely. So now that I confused the two, why don't you give us your next one?
Speaking of scarring children, my number 3 is Scar from The Lion King. Like, how could he not make the list? Seriously, he is one of the most infamous Disney villains of all time. Not only that, in my opinion, has the greatest villain song that has ever been sung in Disney history. Some people might argue that with another one that is on my honorable mentions, but Scar has the nudge. I mean, he takes the cake as far as best songs from a villain. And I really don't know if I really need to dive that deep into Scar because he is so well known. You know, he is a fan favorite of many people. I have a feeling he might be in your top 2, and that's why you're not really saying much. So I'm gonna leave it at that, and then anything I haven't said, I'll leave it to you to cover.
Well, no, I'm not gonna lie. You know, he's one of my Lion King is one of my favorite movies ever, and I love. A voice actor makes the part.
Jeremy Irons, man.
And he is just he makes the back of my hair. I have curly hair and it makes it go straight. Because you know that his intentions for everything are just bad. I mean, he's got the greatest lines and he just torments Simba. And he torments his brother, kills his brother. Oh my God!
I mean, The Lion King really it's a retelling of Hamlet.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what it is. It kind of makes me a little bit of a hypocrite because I, like you, adore The Lion King, and The Lion King is just a animated version of Hamlet with animals, but yet I hate Avatar because it's a live action retelling of Pocahontas meets Fern Gully.
Right.
You know, I Avatar is so overrated to me.
Well, I'm not a big Avatar fan either, so you're not gonna offend me in any way.
But I will say, like, in addition to Jeremy Irons, one of the reasons why I love The Lion King as much as I do, like you, is because the voice cast of not just Scar, not just Jeremy Irons being Scar, but the voice cast of that movie as a whole is phenomenal.
No, it's an all-star immortal cast.
Yes.
And that's why, and I'm on a couple of Disney Facebook groups, and Disney fans are passionate, to say the least. just like Walking Dead fans, just like a whole bunch of other groups of people that love their shows. And there was a big debate between live action and cartoon or animation. And when you get it right, it's hard to want to remake it. And they did. There was not one bad actor in that movie. It's just, it was beautiful.
Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. The live action version also has a phenomenal voice cast.
No. You know what it is? It's not that they're not good people, and it's not that it wasn't great, but you know, they had Mufasa. They kept Mufasa because he was that great.
Yeah.
You know, James Earl Jones, you can't not have James Earl Jones.
Yeah. You had to keep him on as part of it.
Exactly. I mean, it's just that's the thing. It was such an all-star cast. He has such a deep voice, and I love the play between him and the hyenas, which they had 3 of the greatest comics, or at least 2 of the greatest comics ever.
Whoopi Goldberg, Cheech Marin, and Jim Cummings provided the voice of the other one of Ed.
And I'm saying, you know, it just doesn't get any better than that. And the fact, and you're right, it is Hamlet. I can never watch the death scene because it just hits a little too close to home for me. But other than that, I adore him. I adore Scar, and I'm gonna realign my guys since you put him in as you're in there.
and you know what's funny too is another personal note is in high school I performed Hamlet.
Oh.
I actually performed as Laertes, which is Hamlet's uncle.
Yep.
He is Hamlet's evil uncle. So in a way,
you are Scar.
I kind of portrayed Scar in high school.
There you go.
Which was a lot of fun.
There you go.
I'm nowhere near as good as Jeremy Irons.
Well, hey, yes, you were. That day you were. Don't let anybody kid you.
I got to do a sword fight though, which was amazing.
I bet.
So my number 3 is Scar from The Lion King.
Okay. Well, my number 3 is it 3 or 2?
You're 2. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I mean, it's a little confusing since you said you had 8 for number 3.
That's what I mean. It's all the same. Cruella de Vil.
Nice.
And any woman that wants to make a fur coat out of dogs and wants to use chloroform in it has my vote. She's just bad. And the best part is, because I was watching it before we came, when she comes the first time, I'm drawing a blank. The husband of in the movie, and I can't think of his name offhand because I just watched it. He's a musician and he's making piano.
It's Roger, isn't it?
It is Roger.
Okay.
Thank you. I drew a blank.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should have been on this podcast. I don't know all my names. No, but Roger's doing his thing, and he has this little tune in his head, and then all of a sudden she comes barreling in, and he's like, Cruella de Vil, Cruella de... And it was perfect. And when she enters with the smoke and the fur, and she has the room. And the fact that she was just waiting to get those puppies, it just makes me curl.
Yeah, I mean, and by the time people are listening to this too, a live action origin story of Cruella will have already hit. Now we're recording this a couple weeks ahead of time before you guys are actually hearing it. So according to our timeline, Cruella has not yet released. But by the time you're hearing this, it will have. I'm very curious. That's another one where, like Maleficent, I was like, well, how do you do it? And then after seeing Maleficent, I was like, okay, now I'm curious how they're going to do Cruella.
Well, she was high school or college buddies with the Roger's wife. So
Anita, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just a matter of making that bridge. But again, these are 1950s, and they had these awful villains. I mean, you look at some of the villains today, not so much, But we'll talk about that in my honorable mentions. So
okay,
what's your next one?
So my number 2, I'm sticking with that resurgence of Disney that we talked about. This is a lot of people who know me might be surprised to hear this one is not my number one. But I went with Jafar.
Yes.
Yeah. Aladdin is one of my all-time favorite Disney movies, animated Disney movies. Not just for the sole reason of Robin Williams, who is and always will be my hero, my comic hero. But for so many other reasons, because of how wonderful that movie really is.
It's amazing. And he has two great scenes that are just fantastic.
And Jafar, for starters, has always been a Halloween costume I've wanted to do. And I just haven't done it yet. This might be the year, now that the pandemic is coming. I'm not saying coming to an end, but winding down at least, to the point where we might actually be able to go to Halloween parties again this year.
Right.
This might be the year to do it. But that villain, there's nothing comedic about him. That's Iago. Iago right. is the comic relief of the villainy in Absolutely. This movie. Jafar is a villain through and through. Nothing comedic about him. He is heinous. He is evil. He is just the epitome of a villain.
He's hungry for power, and he's going to do it any way that he can. He tries to kick Aladdin out on several times, and his main purpose in life is to make sure Aladdin's out of the picture. I mean,
well, not just that, but he wants to rule.
No, but I'm just saying. I mean, that's the beginning part. Yeah. Then what does he do? He hypnotizes the father and
Sultan. Yeah.
It's crazy.
When we do the episode of Wilhelm where we talk about our favorite Disney animated films, obviously you're getting a little bit of a note because that is going to be in my top 3 easily. Aladdin is one of those movies that I can quote start to finish every line. Every single line of that movie I can quote, to the point where I have done it to annoyance of people.
Well, it's a great movie. And, it's funny that towards the end of this movie, when it's coming to its climax, I always think of Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom, where you've got the fire and everything that's going on. And I don't know why I always think of that. It just reminds me of all that. And I just love the movie as well. So it's an easy one. It was on my list. It could have been in my top 5 or 1 or whatever else.
But yeah, again, like just going back to Jafar real quick before we get into our number ones, he's like I said, he's a villain through and through. There's nothing comedic about him. That's where Iago plays into, and Iago plays into it very well in that sense. But you're right. He's just hungry for power to the point where being hungry for power is ultimately his end.
Right.
It's being hungry that he overeats on power. I guess that's a way.
Well, yeah. I mean, the thing is, he's so close, and he's kind of like almost Scar in the sense where he thinks that everybody's an idiot except for him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the smartest man
Absolutely.
in the room. And that's his downfall.
He looks down on everyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah. He looks down on everyone. And in the end, it's his downfall.
Absolutely.
So, but he's still an amazing villain. In the third Aladdin movie, The Return of Jafar, not so much.
Yeah.
But still, in that first original Aladdin movie, he is number 2 on my list.
Absolutely.
But that brings us to our number ones on our list. So what do you have for us, sir? Who is your number one?
I would have had Scar, but
you still can.
No. Going through, there's a lot of great villains, and there's death and whatever else, but there's one that stands out below the rest in this case, and that's Ursula from Little Mermaid.
The other one, when I said I had an honorable mention whose villain song would rival Scar's, Poor Unfortunate Souls, is that song.
I mean, she takes her voice so she can die. I mean, it's just so she can't see her family. She's comedic, she's dramatic, and she's just larger than life personality, and she's just trying to bewitch her and prey on poor Ariel. And I in the song Poor Unfortunate Souls, she's like, you don't need your voice, you can use your body. I mean, nowadays when you look at this, it's so bad, but yet it's so good. She is just so mean and so awful. And Ariel, and I think what makes it better is Ariel is so naive.
Yeah. And that's what I was just about to say, is that it's not necessarily just that Ursula is evil, but what makes her even more evil is she is able to see and prey upon Ariel's nativity.
Well, that's her job, is to prey on the weak.
Yeah.
And
like, she sees how gullible Ursula or Ariel is, and she feeds on it.
Oh, I mean, it's like she grows from it, because it's like her water in this, it's like her blood, that's what makes her so powerful. And like I said, she's a fan favorite. I mean, any of the ones that we just talked about could have been a number one. And, I don't love her as a character, but I love her as a villain, if that makes sense.
No, that makes total sense, because I think that's probably the way we should be looking at this, is like, if you love them as a character, you probably don't necessarily like them as a villain. It means they don't come across as much of a villain as they should.
Right.
A villain is a character you should not like.
Right.
But I mean, there are exceptions to that rule. Like I said, like Gaston is one of the exceptions to the rule, because of the fact that, like we said before, everybody loves Gaston but the main characters.
Exactly.
So he kind of he's an exception. Jafar is pure evil, so you're meant to not like him. Same with Ursula. She is not a hero she's not a good character.
Well, even her character, the way she was drawn. I mean, she wasn't drawn pretty. I mean, she's a mess. I mean, she's well dressed, she's well put together, but she's the big boss. On a side note, you were talking about your play experience. My wife works for a middle school, and every year they do a different play. And Milburn Middle School in New Jersey, right outside of New York City, you'd think you were at Broadway. And I know that sounds crazy because it's middle school, but the people that put it together are unbelievable. And they have hundreds of people, hundreds of kids or whatever. The whole school basically is in the play. And when they do these scenes and she comes on, it's just, it was scary. I mean, It's a middle school play and you're like, oh my God.
Now, I will say, there is a live action Little Mermaid in the works.
Well, they did a live action. Well, no, it wasn't really live action. It was more they sang the songs on TV.
No, there actually is a live action version along the lines of the Lion King. Casting has already been done,
right?
And it is Melissa McCarthy playing Ursula,
and that'll be perfect.
I think that's fantastic. I know Daveed Diggs is playing Sebastian.
Right.
I know there's a couple other like Awkwafina. Javier Bardem is in it, but I'm not
Ariel?
Sure. Holly Bailey, I think.
Okay.
Which I don't know who she is. Javier Bardem is playing King Triton.
Right.
Melissa McCarthy is Ursula. Daveed Diggs is as Sebastian, which is going to be fun. Jacob Tremblay is playing Flounder.
Oh, nice.
And Awkwafina is playing Scuttle.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not sure who's playing Prince Eric, and I'm not familiar with who's playing Ariel.
Okay.
So, but I'm still on board. I'll still check it out.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of my wife's favorite movies. So, she loves it, and I've learned to love it. So, I think it's a great choice.
And you know what? I think what's interesting about that movie too, and I know we're getting more into movie discussion and not necessarily villain discussion. I know that movie was catered more towards younger girls,
right?
Because it's a female mermaid who's singing and everything. I still love that movie.
It's a great movie. How can you not like it? I mean, it's fun. I mean, it's got catchy tunes. It's got a struggle. It's got everything you want in a good movie.
I still sing along to Poor Unfortunate Souls.
Of course.
I sing along to Kiss the Girl. Like, come on, like it's great.
Of course.
It's such a great movie. But that brings me to my number one, which is one that, again, has not been mentioned yet. We haven't mentioned the movie this character is from. And like I said, might surprise a number of people. My number one is from one of the first, we're going old school Disney on this one. Not as far back as Snow White, obviously, because Snow White was the first Disney animated feature.
Right.
But pretty far back. We're going back to Fantasia.
Okay.
My number one villain is the Chernabog.
Yep.
From the Hall of the Mountain King featurette in Fantasia. Mm-hmm. The Chernabog has always fascinated me. I adore Fantasia.
Okay.
I absolutely adore Fantasia. So Mickey as the Sorcerer's Apprentice is my all-time favorite Disney character.
Okay.
The Chernabog is my favorite villain. And the reason why I chose the Chernabog, he is able to exude pure evil and terror. And he's able to give the audience chills, never says a word.
True.
Never speaks at all. It is purely in presence. That to me is evil. So in my opinion, there's not really a lot of deep dive to make in the Chernabog because
he's Satan. I mean,
he really is only in maybe 6 minutes of the movie, if that 6 or 7 minutes of the movie, and doesn't say a word. So how do you make a deep dive on a character like that? But yet in only 6 minutes and no dialogue, I think has frightened me as a child more than any other villain I've seen in a Disney film.
Absolutely.
So for that reason, like I said at the top of the podcast, at the top of the episode, he has been for a long time my number one villain, my number one Disney villain, which is one of the reasons why I was really looking forward to doing this episode, because I don't think a lot of people know who the Chernabog is.
You know, it's one of those, like I said to you before, there's a lot of characters. There's a lot of deep dives, and that's the one that resonates to you. And I think that that's great because, you know, he is evil. He does fit the bill. But like you said, not a lot of people, you forget.
He's not nearly as well known as some of those other villains.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, you could go into really deep dive stuff and people are like, what about this? What about that? Yeah, I mean, I basically went with a lot of the fan favorites, but at the same time, it's what you know and it's what you're brought up on.
Yeah,
and I think that's what's so amazing. So that said, what are some of your honorable mentions?
Thank you for hosting this podcast for me, Alex.
I'm sorry.
I don't care. I think it's fun that you did it because you haven't podcasted in a while for your show. Your show kind of on hiatus. So the fact that you kind of jumped right into it means that you're ready to get going again.
Yeah, I kind of am. That's true.
I love it. But you are the guest, so why don't you tell me one of your honorable mentions?
Sorry.
No, it's totally fine.
You know, some of my honorable mentions. I love Pixar. And the reason I love Pixar, especially early Pixar, is because John Lasseter, who now has taken the reins, started out as a Disney employee, and he wanted to bring back good storytelling. And I got to tell you, when it comes to villains, Toy Story franchise has a ton of them.
I have 2 Toy Story villains in my honorable mention list as well.
I mean, you know, you've got the monkey. You've got lots of
Lots of hugging bear.
Hugging bear.
Yep.
Who gets his comeuppance. You've got tons. The miner. Hell, what's his name?
Sid.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Sid. And just all those awful characters, which when you think about it, are really, really bad. And the fact that they still can put this in a kids movie, and like you said, there's not kids that can't watch or look at toys the same way is amazing. I'll let you talk a little bit about Toy Story, since it seems like you wanted to jump in.
No. I was simply going to say, I mean, honorable mentions are ones we don't have to dive very deep
Okay,
into,
I look like you wanted to.
No, these are ones we're just going to go through relatively quickly and such. But yeah, I mean, I had Lotso, Huggin Bear on my honorable mention list. I had Sid on my honorable mention list because you're right, they're villains.
Yeah.
But another honorable mention of mine, since we're in the world of Pixar already, is I have Syndrome from The Incredibles.
Yep.
And we talk about amazing voice cast, Jason Lee portraying that character. I was excited because I'm a fan of Jason Lee's from, older projects that he's done and some of the newer stuff as well. But, then seeing Syndrome, I'm like, man, I just want to smack this kid.
Oh, it's like he needs to be smacked.
Yeah.
Overgrown baby.
Yeah. And then, yeah, he becomes like a villain. And basically as a villain, he just becomes that same baby, just throwing temper tantrums with technology.
Absolutely.
But he's a villain.
And he's just, what I find so funny about him, he got so pissed because he was a sidekick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and granted that, I shouldn't say that he was a sidekick, but granted that he just didn't get the love that he wanted to. And because of that, everything kind of, spiraled down. And until what happened.
Yeah.
But, Incredibles is one of my favorite movies as well. And Syndrome is definitely a great fun character, in the franchise.
Yeah.
Another honorable mention I'd love to talk about is Randall Boggs from Monsters Inc.
From Monsters Inc. Yep.
I mean, again, all he wants to do is just win and win and win, and he doesn't care how he does it because he can't beat him, and he wants to join him. And I think that the fact that he's got that chameleon. That's his thing, is he can vanish, he can turn into different things. I think it's just amazing. And I just think I just love him as a character in terms of his evilness. So that's why I want him on there.
Yeah, no, I agree with that one too. That's a cool honorable mention. Another one of my honorable mentions is from a movie that I constantly debate people on, that I feel when I tell people constantly that Tangled is better than Frozen. But Mother Gothel from Tangled, who is oh God, what is her name? Rapunzel. Rapunzel's evil stepmother.
On a side note, Rapunzel's one of the only princesses that doesn't have a castle. She has a bathroom.
What?
In Disney, she doesn't have a castle.
She has a bathroom?
I swear to God, it's the funniest thing. She has this area, and right by it is the bathroom. So it's like the running joke in Disney. They never gave her a castle. They gave her a bathroom.
That's not right.
It's not right, but that's what happened.
That's not right.
Oh, she's awful. I love it. And one of the things that I love about, again, her songs, she keeps calling her pet, and she keeps kissing her, but she keeps kissing the hair. She doesn't kiss her as a child. She keeps thinking that, ooh, I've got this hair.
Oh yeah, so because the hair keeps her young.
No, I'm just saying it's amazing. It's just amazing, like her deal. In terms of another honorable mention, my wife would kill me if I didn't mention her. Her favorite movie is Cinderella.
Cinderella.
So, the evil stepmother, so to speak. She loves to put this child into slavery and does everything in her power to make sure that she is put down, and doing the housework, doing everything at her whim. I mean, she basically kidnapped Cinderella. So I think that.
Oh, she has her in a life of servitude.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And she's awful from beginning to end, but she gets her comeuppance, which I love. And I just love Lady Tremaine?
Yeah. Another honorable mention on my list, the reason why I stopped sucking my thumb as a child, Prince John from Robin Hood.
Oh, there you go.
He is such a weasel.
Oh, he's awful.
And really only is villainous in terms of power. He's nothing but like a snivering little spoiled brat, who has everybody else do his evil deeds for him.
Absolutely.
And it's only because his brother is out of town. But he always did that sucking his thumb thing when he didn't get his own way, which taught a lot of children like, okay, if you want to keep sucking your thumb, that's great, but you're going to be a little brat like Prince John.
Well, I think it's so funny because he basically is an overgrown baby.
He is. He's a brat. That's all he is.
And he's such a good character.
He's a great character.
In terms of other honorable mentions, I love the Queen of Hearts and Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland, yep.
I mean, she's just, I love her entrance. Like, that's the thing. A lot of these villains, and I think that's why, you love them, is because they have such great entrances. I'm not a big Alice in Wonderland fan just because there's so much going on. It's like that whole trip that somebody went on. But
well, that's exactly what the book is.
Exactly. And that's always what I'm thinking about when I see them. But yeah, I mean, she's just awesome, and everybody's scared of her, and she's the best.
Yeah.
So,
honorable mention on my end, from the Jungle Book, Shere Khan.
Yep.
Not only an amazing villain in the animated series, but an amazing villain in the live action, voiced by, oh God, my mind went blank. Son of a, it's going to bug me. He's one of those guys I say should voices everything. He was in Hobbs and Shaw. What the hell is his name?
Adair.
What?
No.
Oh,
is it? Oh, he was in Thor.
Yes. Idris Elba.
Thank you. I can't say his name right.
God, that bugged me.
That's why I looked it up for you.
Yeah, that bugged me. That was gonna bug me until I figured it out. But because I love Idris Elba.
Yeah, I mean, and he's great at everything he does.
Yeah, but yeah, Shere Khan, another one of my my honorable mentions. I don't know how many more you have left. I have like 3 left.
I mean, my thing is we could go all day. So whenever you're ready to cut me off, I'm fine.
If you know what, why don't we each do one more honorable mention?
That's fine. That's
we'll
fine. Wrap it up. Yes, I will not do Frozen because I think you're right. I've had to hear that darn movie too many times. But since I brought her up before, I might as well talk about her. Where is she? I just want to make sure I get her right finally. The Evil Queen from Snow White.
Yes.
Okay.
But I don't think she has a name. I think she is just referred to as the Evil Queen.
She is the Evil Queen.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking. Wait, it's Queen Grimhildel. That's what they say.
Okay. I take your word for it.
I know that's what she's like commonly known for Evil Queen. I mean, she is just nasty. She comes in, she wants what she wants, and she's going to get it no matter how she does it, and any other words. And she's insane. I mean, there's no other word for it. She's just insane.
Yeah.
And that's why I loved, what was it? Was it Charlize Theron played her at one point?
And I think that's where giving her an actual name comes from.
Maybe.
Is from the Snow White and the Huntsman films.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure in the original Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, she did not have a name.
What I find really fascinating about both of our lists, yes, we have some modern, but we also have a lot from the past. I shouldn't say that. I have more in the past than you do.
Oh, wait till you hear my final honorable mention.
Okay. Here we go.
My final honorable mentions going back to 1977.
Okay.
And that's Dr. Terminus from Pete's Dragon.
Oh, there you go.
The guy that constantly. Now, Pete's Dragon is one of my favorite all-time Disney movies, like encompassing animated and live action. I adore Pete's Dragon. So Dr. Terminus was one of those guys that I remember as a kid rooting against constantly. Like, you're never gonna catch Elliot. Like, you're never gonna catch him. And thankfully, he never does.
There you go.
So Dr. Terminus.
I'm gonna stick one more in.
Go for
my daughter. One of the characters that's been around probably since the beginning of Disney is Pete. He's
Stinky Pete.
Yeah,
or not Stinky.
He goes under a bunch of names. But in Mickey Mouse Clubhouse now, he's always the bad guy that always redeems himself, and he's always trying to get Mickey and the gang to do his bidding, and he always screws it up because Mickey always wins. But throughout Disney, he has been one of the bad guys. And yes, is he always villainous? Not necessarily, but he's always been that villain throughout Mickey Mouse's life. And I had to mention him because I saw him today because my daughter wanted to see a little Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. So there you go.
Yeah, no, that's a good one to wrap on too, because you're right. Pete probably he's been around a long time.
Exactly. I think he might have been around at Steamboat Willie.
I think he was around.
I think he was. Willie. If he wasn't, it was right around there where he put him in, where Walt put him in. So
yeah, shortly after. And he's been around. He's lasted the test of time. Like he's still around.
Absolutely. And I think it's great. I mean, the wonderful thing about this topic is there's no bad answers. There's no real debate other than you like that one and I like this one. And the best part is we get to talk about movies or characters. And if you haven't seen those movies because they're too old or they're not in your age group for whatever reason, it's a great time to look at these movies and take a second or a first look at them, because every single one of them is a classic.
And I'm actually really happy with this conversation, not just for the fact of the topic that we're talking about, but the fact that when it came to our top 5, we really didn't share a lot of the same ones.
The ones we shared were the good ones. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, you have to have Scar. You have to have Jafar. I mean, come on. A list without those two, it's not a good list.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
But
no, this was a really great conversation, a really deep dive into these characters, which I loved. We're going to get ready to wrap things up. But before I do that, Alex, I want to give you the opportunity to promote and plug anything you've got going on, where people can find you, any other podcasts you're a part of, not just your own, but, anything you want to promote. You have the spotlight.
Well, thank you so much. I'm doing a small little podcast that you were nice enough to come on, which is called Field to Screen. We're taking all sports movies and taking a review of them from, Bull Durham to Chariots of Fire. We're going to do soon. We've done Rounders. We're doing all sorts of different things. We just we're going to get back to the Rocky trilogy, or I should say Rocky whatever. Rocky 5000
trilogy.
We just finished the trilogy. I always think of Running Man when I say that, where they're like Rocky 5000. And we're just going to start taking deep dives into those movies. I'd like to down the road maybe do a series, because there's a couple of series that I really find that are going to be great. But in terms of other projects that are out there, I have a good friend of mine, Walt Blau. He does a person-to-person type of interview, which is called Walt's Kitchen Table. If you ever get a chance to look at it, please take a listen. And then one other podcast that I'd love to try to plug is Tommy and Don's album. What they do is they take an album, classic rock album, and they kind of break it down, kind of like what we're doing in terms of songs, but how it affected the time period that it was at. So, Tommy Hilkin and Don Seckler have that great podcast. And if you could check out any of those podcasts, I'd really appreciate it.
Cool. Yeah. And Field to Screen, I think people can just they can just search it on
we're Apple on all the major. Yeah, we're on Apple, Spotify, and all the major Stitcher, all of that. And like I said, we're gonna have new episodes coming back soon, and I'm really thankful that you got me back on the mic because I'm feeling it, and it feels really good.
Yep. Yeah, I'm glad you feel that way after doing this too, because I had a lot of fun doing the episode I did with you. You and I did Little Giants.
Oh yes, the worst. What was it? What did you call it? The worst person in the world, or the scariest announcer in the world?
No, I don't remember what I call. I know I did something. I can't.
It was with the announcer. It was a little creepy for you.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. It was something about like Aunt Margie's nut butter or something like that.
Yeah, it was really bad.
And I can't remember. I'm like, why is that in a kids movie?
But, yeah. Anytime you want to come back, we'll do the reverse, and I'll absolutely love to have you back on.
And I can come on and take over your show for a time.
Please, anytime you want to. You know what you're doing a lot better than I do.
Yeah, so I encourage everybody to subscribe to Alex's podcast, Field to Screen, as well as the other two podcasts that he mentioned. As far as this podcast goes, if you like what you hear on this program, I encourage you to go online and rate and review the show on whatever podcasting platform you listen on. The more reviews we get, the more people we can reach, the bigger the audience. So be sure to follow. Be sure to rate and review. Also follow Wilhelm on social media, facebook.com/the Wilhelm podcast, and at the Wilhelm pod on Instagram and Twitter. Finally, if you want to be a guest on the program, I'm open to guests of all kinds. If you have an idea for a topic or a theme you'd like to hear us cover, film franchise you want to hear us talk about, debate you want to hear us settle, or just a movie you want to hear us make a deep dive into, you can let me know by messaging me at any of the places I just mentioned, or you can email me directly at thewilhelmpodcast@gmail.com. That's going to wrap it up for this episode of Wilhelm. Alex, this was fun, man.
Anytime. I love talking villains, and I always love talking Disney. So anytime you want to have me back, I'm always open to it.
Well, I know we have a couple other episodes lined up for you to come back for in the future, so people will definitely be hearing your voice again.
And I would love to be able to get you on. I know you have a humongously busy schedule, so
I make time.
I know you do. That's the fun part. And I know you have a bunch of podcasts that you do, but anytime you want to take a deep dive on any of the movies, I'm ready for you.
Cool. I appreciate it. Thanks again for being a part of this. But until next time, we'll see you guys down the line for another episode of Wilhelm. Take care.